Well, I'm wondering about communication barriers. If there was somebody who was hearing impaired working as a city councillor, that must be a huge challenge to communicate with somebody who's visually impaired. Like, where's the common ground there, especially between the two different languages? I mean, Inuktitut Sign Language is a thing with all of 6 people who sign it, so it would have to be English. It's probably the common language. Do you worry about a cultural aspect of, like, are you being forced into English more than Inuktitut a lot of the time, though?
Yes, more of English at this moment because again, no real access for the Inuktitut part. I mean, there's ways of fixing this, but again, if I'm willing to educate everyone, so I'd rather do it in English. So English will be my part right now. Inuktitut will be later on when we finally have access money to educate one another.
Well, even if you're dealing with a single individual and you're comfortable or only spoken Inuktitut, you'd still be able to help that person, considering it is your first language.
I mean, a few times I went out to the field at work. Again, the place I was working, they were not educated to assist a person who's got that physical barrier. So it is important in the workforce is that either one or two is educated. But again, there's a lot of catching up to do. How can we create that? So in order to create that, let's get in touch together as a community. Let's do this together, not just two individuals. If we do it together, that way we can all focus to have a better community, city we all live in.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
When you're on the computer, you're not using Braille. How are you accessing your computer?
It's talking to me constantly. So it's a voice computer. It's got different voices, but this one is it's capable of reading pretty much everything. I got it through technology, Canadian assistive technology.
Yeah.
I went through them as well with Canada National Institute for Blind. When I went through their courses, I was introduced to have a computer, a fax machine, a scanner, and a computer,
Right.
and a hard drive. So,
And can that
here's your
program
life.
read Inuktitut?
No, the one I have, it's all English. Everything's English.
Okay.
All the Inuktitut part, it's not, like I said, it's not there on my computer.
Yeah. Do you know if it exists?
Yes, it does exist. I just,
okay.
like I said, I mentioned David earlier.
Yes.
David within the government, who's now an MLA.
Uh-huh.
So maybe he'll be pushing more for it, or maybe his other department. But again, the government of Nunu is starting to understand the process of disability and the needs are. And I believe the more they talk about it, the more we lobby and tell them, I think that way in the future there'll be a seat for a person like that. And it's great that we can achieve that. If we achieve it, they'll have a voice for people with disability.
Have you done any interviews or radio interviews or television as far as getting support or trying to figure out who's out there, who needs what kind of assistance, and how often are you advocating or helping the visually impaired or the hearing impaired, the disabled? How often do you do that?
I'm actually advocating for all disability. It's not just one part. So I'm not advocating for all disability within the city community. Either I go, you just mentioned radio. We do radio once or twice a month, along with Nunavut Disabilities Makiniswaki Society. They educate people within the community city we live in. If you want to learn more of disability, I mean, there is some courses there. The thing is, businesses or other are not engaging. How can we work that better together? How can we make it happen? So where I am, so which is I'm sitting under city, maybe I can introduce it to the counselor and the mayor and say, oh, maybe if we do this together as a community, that way we can have more people on the side to assist one another. So the more we work together, the better. So this is important.
No, it's Helen. You've had other individuals in different communities reach out to you. How have they found you?
Again, they're more happier that there's people who are taking the lead on trying to access for other people, and the more they reach out, it's always the same thing, same scenario. What happened to me in the beginning? They're talking about that. What happened to me in the beginning? I need to do something, but what I'm doing to them, I'm introducing them. You gotta have the strength within you. You gotta have the, if you have family, if you have, which everybody does. But again, support is very important.
So more
And
like
if I
peer
didn't get that
support.
support in the first place, I would not feel great. I didn't go nowhere for 3 months. And I said, this is it. 3 months is enough. So I wasn't going to wait anymore. And so it is important that the individual engage in what they want to do to try and assist themselves and others and make them understand these are my needs.
So as these students are CSWs, if they were working at the community level and someone had just had an accident, what would be your recommendation to them? Because the emotions that someone would be going through,
Okay.
how could a CSW reach out, being non-judgmental, being supportive, to walk with someone over the 3 months?
So when we get out of the hospital, we tell everybody what's wrong with us. I just seen a doctor. Okay, well, we believe that, awesome. But it would be more important that if it comes from a doctor who's a physician, it is important that the physician open up their mouth in order to make you understand, or I, who has a business. Businesses meaning the access, the rest of this. If the doctor talks more about what's wrong with the individual for people who has businesses such as disability or able people, if they talk to the supervisors more or the leading boss, I think that way the communication barrier will be, wiped out. The more we communicate together, the doctor is already assessing the person to the boss. So if the boss understands what's wrong with the person, that way the boss can move forward in a better manner to educate one another. So,
Iman na apirin na support to galo ona ubago ilin na to tamak community support worker office management ana ilin na tabo kano ukarayak pe ubag tinno meneriga how the kamaga how the tautung mitu sangit kano ikayulo abigayak pita ubago sana na to tautung mitu to kisibe.
yes.
Kano ikayo kayak pita iling ni sugayakam na nga sugumaga nga kano ikayo
Okay.
nakayak to.
Lobbying is very important. I keep saying that earlier. Lobbying is very important that we teach everyone, not just everyone, but bosses, everybody. We teach everyone what's wrong with the individual. There's all sorts of courses, we're in a computer age right now. There's all sorts of computers there's all sorts of resources and other stuff in the computer. But back home, we always say we have to have enough resource. But just like Inuit office is doing a great job accessing and educating one another. And if we have more of those, I think that way we can move in a better manner for people with vision impairment, physical impairment, hearing impairment. But if we do it, separately, instead of being, inclusive, meaning promoting all disability. If we promote all disability in one area to have empath partners, I think a lot of things can move forward. Like if you partner with, let's say, 1-800 hotline, or the women's shelter or men's shelter, that way those accesses and other things can be worked on in a better manner.
Helping pathfind the supports.
Because they are out there. I mean, most of the time, either we are educating ourselves the same thing, but in a different language, or in a different way. We're actually learning the same thing from different individuals when we can actually have our own meaning. Okay, let's work together to create a better path for everyone.
Hanuke kayo lua bigayang pita so imana ukto mama ona sanim need to pa tau tu unne lisakto kano ikayo lua bigayang para ita ako ne ano tau tu ngile gabe tau tu unne
First part is we need to make the individual being wanted around. You guys introduced yourself to me earlier. Now I feel I'm wanted around. Awesome. Great. I feel great. I can open my mouth now. So introduction is very important. If we don't introduce each other, that's the toughest hurdle. If I'm not welcome, okay, just gonna get out. So, again, introduction is very important, and understand. If you understand what's wrong with me, okay, don't be afraid to ask me a question. So never be afraid to ask a question to an individual.